Okay, so now we're going to design a query that will calculate the total, first of all, the subtotals for the product purchased per clients, and then the full total. So we'd like, for example, to know per product, how much did we sell, and then the full total of all products based on the fact that we have a line item that is related to a single, each collection of line items related to a single transaction. Okay, so clients can have many transactions. Each transaction can have many line items. Within the line item, there's a specific product, okay, that comes from the product table that has a unit price, okay, and we can, by looking at this model, assess that we can actually figure out what will be the subtotal per line item, okay, by multiplying unit price by quantity, and then go ahead and sum all of the line items after, based on the line items, whatever we've multiplied quantity and unit price by. Okay, so we'll add all these up, and that will tell us for, if your transactions are cyclic, let's say every quarter, you're making an assessment, what is your total revenue, we could figure that out, okay? Okay, well, let's go ahead and build a query that will assess these two financial items. Okay, so now we're going to go to Create. We're going to go to Query Design. This time I'm going to pick Product and Line Item. Okay, let me close this here. And what I'm going to do is pick the product name and description so I can see what they are. Okay, product name, description. I will pick unit price to see what each one costs. Okay, and then I want to see what quantity was purchased, how much of that was purchased. So the fact that we're tying up the product to line items, what's going to happen is only products that were purchased would show up here for this query. So let's run this first. Okay, so as you can see, there are quantities associated to these products. And this is not the list of all of our products. So if I open up products itself, notice I have a lot more products than what this query is showing. And the reason for that is some of these products were never purchased. They were never in any transaction. Let's look at an example. Let's look at, for example, the RMD respirator. If there was a product purchased, yes, there was one. You could see quantity of one. Let's look at this product here from Pfizer. Nothing, no orders. So I definitely don't have a PFE in this query, as you can see. Okay, right? So that tells you that by adding these two tables together, just like we did with the client and transactions, we will only see records that exist in both tables. A simple query for that is based on a joint field. I'm sorry, yes, here you go, joint, and you're joining these two with these two fields. One is the product ID in the product table, and the other one is the product ID in the line item table. Fantastic. So now, let's modify this query where we will write an expression that will give us a subtotal. So right here, I would like to create a field, okay? If I run this, it will be right next to it that shows the subtotal on each line item. What it will do, it will multiply 5 by 200. It will multiply 2 by 30, etc., etc. And so the quantity by the unit price, so I know how much money I made out of each product. And then eventually I want a full total to know what my revenue was based on all of these transactions. Okay, so in here, in this field right here, I'm going to write an expression that multiplies unit price by quantity. Okay, so what you would do is you could specify the table first where it came from. Product dot unit, and notice it gives me the unit price there, And let me just go to the end of it. Times. Let me just zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, times line item dot, and that would be quantity. Okay, I'm going to say okay. All right, so now this automatically shows that it wants to be seen. That's fine. You can turn it off, turn it on. We want to see that. And notice we have EXPR1. So that's going to be the column heading. We'll fix that in a minute. Let's see if we actually got a calculated field. This is called a calculated field. And sure enough, I have 5 times 200 is 1,000. 2 times 30 is 60, etc., etc., right? So here's a big one. I have 100 quantities at $4 a pop, $400 total. Okay, so this is working just fine. Except you have EXPR1 that does not necessarily tell you what you're looking at. Maybe I should write here subtotal. Okay, so go back to here where it says EXPR1, right here, write down what you want to say, subtotal. Okay, let's run this now and see if the field name has changed. And sure enough, now we have a word that says subtotal. Great. So now, can we add all these up right here? You could do it right now from here. You could actually say total right here, and you click on this field here, and you're going to say sum. And that, voila, now you have a total of all these fields. So that means we made $22,089 total from all the sales based on all the transactions we had. Okay, so let's go back to the query. Let's go and look at its SQL. And notice here the keyword associated with the inner join, which is the product ID from the product table equal the product ID from the line item. However, we have an extra field, so select. These are the fields, but we have one which is a calculated field right here, and it has a name as subtotal. So it has a name called as subtotal. So this allows you to alter and create a new field, right? Or which we call a calculated field. Okay, let me run this again.